Travis Wayne Goodsell. As a boy living in Placentia, California, I had turned 8 years old, and I guess it was 1978 when we 1977, because I turned 8 in second grade, and we were in Placentia at that time, moved from Michigan, and so we were closer to my mom's parents, who lived in the Ventura Hills and the mansion there. My grandfather being a dentist who was a military officer, did dental work for the soldiers as well during World War II, but chose to be buried next to his wife rather than being buried in Arlington. He would take care of our teeth, and so we often would go up to visit, and often for holidays we would visit my mom's family as a result, because my dad's family was way up in Rexburg, Idaho, so it was just more convenient to spend the holidays with my mom's parents. And one Easter, we were at the Ventura Mansion, and the manner in which my parents chose to do it, well, it was actually my mom who did the work. I'm kind of confused, because Todd and I shared the one bedroom next door to my grandparents' master bedroom, which most often was my parents' bedroom when they would finish watching Lawrence Welk or having discussions or whatever down in the TV room, where there's a fold-out couch bed that my brother and I would be transferred to later on, and my sisters would get the other bedroom there at the top floor of the house. And I had woken up and went out to see what was going on, and the lights were on, and my mom was there in the main living room at the front door. And so I went down the stairs and saw that she was stuffing the Easter baskets. I caught her. The Easter bunny is alive. And I didn't say anything. I just went to see what she was doing. Wanted to see what toys and presents I got, especially the candy. And she said, which bunny do you want? I chose my bunny. It was a maroon bunny. It must have been handmade, because I don't recognize it as being any kind of major brand bunny, but you know, it's the holiday season. Probably lots of stores had all sorts of stuff to attract people's attention to buy, and that was the first time I had walked in on my mom posing as the Easter bunny. And so I can't remember if she ever tried to claim the Easter bunny is coming, But I do remember Christmas as young kids. My mom trying to pull that stunt that you guys better be good or Santa Claus won't give you any presents, put stolen coal in your stocking, etc., etc. And even after we knew it was a fraud, my mom still tried to perpetuate the lie, trying to gaslight us kids that Santa Claus was real. And so, yeah, that was a good lesson as a kid to realize that adults in positions of authority and trust are capable of lying and deceiving us, and that it's necessary for us to find out the truth rather than just being gullible siblings and children and religious members believing in the fraud and the big lie. And it's not a situation where having a hope in a fraud gives any kind of benefits. My mom could have just did what she did for Easter and said, which rabbit do you want? Which basket do you want? No, that's it. You know, if I come down and see my mom wrapping the presents for Christmas, she could have just said, you know, you can't open this until Christmas morning. I remember one Christmas morning I woke up early and sorted out all my presents from under the tree and had them right there at my end of the couch that I was going to be sitting, and I fell asleep because everybody else was not waking up. And when I woke up, nobody else was up yet, but I had found that most likely my mom had come down and found that I had sorted out my presents and put them all back in. It was just, and of course they were late that morning on top of it. And so it's one thing to have a story about Santa Claus. It's another thing to push the lie on kids that Santa Claus is real. As a story, it has a good message. The song gets a little creepy. But the story of Saint Nick, as shown during the Christmas season, is a good message, as he has to sneak into the city to give gifts to everybody, and everybody knows he's real because he's giving them the gifts directly. But to have parents deceive the kids can cause some damage, because when parents are suffering financially in any given year, the kids who believe Santa Claus is real now don't understand the financial situation of the family, or if they recognize that they are financially hurting as a family, that Santa Claus is a cruel taskmaster who punishes the poor. And that doesn't help a kid's psyche. And so perpetuating a fraud just because it gives you warm, happy feelings actually can cause damage under certain conditions. It's better to be honest and tell the truth all the way through. And so I see that in Mormons who have this unyielding belief that Jesus is real. And they don't see that the prophets are the ones who are Jesus. They're acting as Jesus's representatives. And so what they do, Mormons believe that it's Jesus and don't see it as criminal behavior or harmful behavior or just outright bad behavior. And that's disturbing, because Mormons cast it off onto Jesus as a straw man and get very violent and angry and defensive and criminal, all to defend a non-existent entity. I mean, you see that with this push to save Christmas. You know, Santa Claus is real, we must defend Christmas. They actually push it for Jesus, not Santa Claus, but it's the same concept, that the push to force everybody to acknowledge Christmas as Jesus' birth, which obviously isn't. Even Christians know it's not, if they actually did their study and learned from somebody who actually knew that shepherds lowing in the field is not during the wintertime. But there's some contradictions as well. Nonetheless, not knowing the origins, not being told the truth about the origins of the religion, and for Mormons it's the truth about church history. I'm getting attacked, and I had to report him because he crossed the line, by an anti-Mormon who does not seem to understand I don't agree with the current church, but I support Joseph Smith, and that's what he hears and thinks that I'm supporting Mormonism in my videos. Isn't that funny, Mormons? And so he gets very abusive towards me, falsely accusing Joseph Smith because he had been misinformed and disinformed by the church about Joseph Smith. See, just because the church confesses Joseph Smith practiced polygamy does not mean he practiced polygamy. When you factor in Joseph Smith's talk given in July 1840 that Brigham Young never published, because Joseph Smith exposes Brigham Young as Judas and that he would murder him. And so yes, Willard Richards, John Taylor were members of the 12 who were also there in that meeting. And yes, they didn't die, but Joseph and Hiram did. And so just because they claim the mob murdered Joseph and Hiram, you have to look at the big picture. You have to look at all the documents. You don't trust someone you know is lying to you. They turned Joseph Smith into a Christian who has Jesus as his Christ. Any Mormon who just simply reads the first vision and the Book of Mormon knows that that's a lie. That the church will not instruct us on what the learning of the Jews is concerning the Christ, other than to say the Jews are wrong, they need to find Jesus. And so we miss kind of crucial and essential to our eternal salvation information because of the lies of the prophets. And Mormons who believe the prophets believe in Jesus and attack me for trying to instruct you guys on the truth about the origins of the church. And likewise, people who aren't even affiliated with the church hear about the church and the lies of the church and keep going around spreading them. And it's not right, because Brigham Young gets a pass if Joseph Smith is the one who started all these criminal activities and behaviors. Because he says, oh, I got to do it because Joseph Smith is the founding prophet, it's from God. We don't see that Brigham Young is the one who falsely accused Joseph so that he could justify doing what he did. So that's the Easter message. I'm sure only a few of you will watch.